Ladies and gentlemen, Primetime CP23 here with a Diablo 3 Necromancer update video. In case you haven't seen, yesterday, which was March 14th, Blizzard gave an update on the Necromancer class by posting this article called Necromancer Update, the Meleemancer. That name's kind of still a work in progress, I would hope. But anyway, what this did is it announced several new skills, and it led to a lot of new speculation. And I mean, if you keep up with this kind of video, if you keep up with Diablo 3 news videos, especially about the Necromancer specifically, you know all this information already. You know, you've read the note, not patch note, but the update notes that Blizzard themselves posted. So there's no need for me to actually go over each individual item in there, but there are a few questions that I have come up with that I need answers for. So let's get into the 5 questions that I have about the Necromancer at this time. So the first and most obvious question is actually 2 questions, which is, when do we get the Necromancer pack and how much is it going to cost? They've said second half of 2017. I believe they said second half of 2017 even in this update that they posted. So my guess is, since we're talking about second half of 2017, hopefully by August or September, but more than likely, I would not be surprised if this is launched like the last day of BlizzCon. If like the last day of BlizzCon, they just come out on stage and say, oh, by the way, everybody in the audience, here's a free code to go download the Necromancer pack, which is available now, and that it's actually, and that actually goes live during the end of BlizzCon. That's just my guess. Here they talk about the rest of the content besides the Necromancer, him or herself. I say that Necromancer is part of a content pack, which includes the class, an in-game pet, cosmetic wings, 2 additional character slots, 2 additional stash tabs, on PC only, a portrait frame, pennant, banner, and a banner sigil. And that it will launch alongside a free major content patch, which tells me that it's going to land the same day as a new patch, and that it's going to mark the beginning of a new season. So now, of course, those are just guesses, but that's kind of how I'm figuring it's going to go down. My guess is because you're getting so much, I mean, it's not like a ton. It's the Necromancer and a bunch of cosmetics, basically. My guess is that the Necromancer pack will probably cost about $20. I think anything higher than $20 and people are going to get a little frustrated. I don't think that would actually affect the sales. I think they could probably go as high as $30 before the price started to affect sales. But since there's no new act, sorry about that. That was my phone vibrating. I've got my phone right down here in front of me because that's what has my script or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, and someone called me. So, but since there's no new act coming along with it, and this is all supposedly free stuff, my guess is that they are not gonna charge a full $60 or whatever for this. But we'll see. It's Blizzard. You never know what Blizzard's going to do. My second most... Well, yeah, probably the second most important question is, will Necromancer replace the support monk or Z monk in the 4-man meta? And my answer would be maybe. It depends on how some of these skill runes work. If they work the way that it seems to me like they're going to work, yeah, it could possibly happen. Or if they get the right kind of skills, who knows, it may replace support barb, or pull barb, Z barb, whatever you want to call it. So here it shows you the cannibalize rune, which allows you to basically eat the corpses of your enemies, and it regains health. They could possibly do something to allow that health regeneration to also filter to your allies. I don't know for sure that they will, but they could. Also, same kind of thing with the Blood Golem. The Blood Golem can sacrifice himself to heal you. So that's another thing. They could put in some kind of effect, some kind of legendary item where all skills that heal you, the portion of that healing is passed on to your allies. I don't know for sure that that's actually going to happen, but Leech is the skill that mostly tells me that there's going to be at least some support meta trying to evolve for the Necromancer, because Leech is a dastardly spell that allows you to transfer some of the health of attacked enemies to yourself and your allies. My guess is that that's going to be every time anyone in your group attacks a mob or an enemy of some kind, if that enemy is affected by Leech, then that health is going to go to you and your whole party. That's my assumption. So, between those and finally Siphon Blood, which is the skill right here, I think these are all things that are going to suck health away from your enemies, and that could somehow be transferred between not only yourself, but also to your allies. Since there is no real other healing class option besides Monk, it would not surprise me if they allow some of these benefits to roll over onto your allies, so that we can possibly see, just a new meta evolve. Because they're not wasting all their let me rephrase that. They're not wasting their time. But they're not going to spend all of this time on this new class so that nobody plays it. My guess is they're going to make the Necromancer have at least one class that one build that they assume is going to be meta viable. And just by looking at the skills, to me, it looks like they're trying to replace the support monk with a support necro. But who knows? Question number 3 is the blood skills. Like Death Nova, for instance. Blood Nova is one of 5 skill runes for the base Death Nova skill. Blood Nova does impressive damage, but this comes at a cost. Using this rune requires spending both essence and some of your health. My question is, will they treat blood and even, bone type skills as a completely new form of magic? Or are they going to just call it physical damage and be good with that? Because if it's a completely new type of damage, then that adds, in my opinion, it adds to even more variety because, because then your allies who have things that affect your physical damage may not roll over. So, who knows? I also wonder for things like Convention of Elements, because that would add another magic type that the Necromancer would have to roll over on. I don't really have a picture or anything pulled up for question number 4, but will there be some kind of teeth build for Necromancer? My guess is yes, that they will have some kind of teeth build. Maybe what they could do would be, instead of having it be like Teeth, which was essentially a charged bolt type spell in Diablo 2, like you used Teeth and it shot little arrow type things out from in front of you, and it just kind of went around and out to your enemies. My question is, rather than developing that whole skill, and I mean they might have to develop a skill for it anyway, but a possible cool way to do this, since they have thorns as an actual damage part in Diablo 3 already, could they possibly take thorns damage and have that be how your teeth damage is equated? Like if you have 2,000 thorns on your sheet damage and sheet stats, could that affect your teeth ability? I feel like there's probably some kind of way to balance those two out, and I'm just kind of wondering what they're going to do with that. The final question is just kind of speculating on what some more of these skills are going to be. The Summon Skeleton spell appears to have, just for the base Summon Skeleton spell, you appear to be able to summon both skeletal mages and skeletal melee warriors. So is that a separate spell casting the mages, or is it just one in every X number of skeletons is going to be a mage? Or even going further beyond that, is it a skill rune? Because I could see them doing that they have the base Summon Skeleton spell, and then you get to choose what kind of skeleton you summon. Whether if you choose the mage passive, or the mage rune rather, then you're summoning skeletal mages instead of skeletons with a axe or a sword and shield. But I don't know. In addition to that, I see they announced the Grim Scythe skill, which is going to be a generator. This kind of has me wondering what the other generators are going to be, as well as what kind of range they're going to have, and what kind of, just what kind of ability it's going to be, what it's going to do. Also, going back to the whole Diablo 2 thing, the whole Diablo 2 version of the Necromancer, what about things like armor buffs and, for instance, Skeletal Wall, which summons just a small wall around you, and it just spins around you, and it absorbs some of the damage that you're taking. So I wonder what they could do with that. There's just a lot of unanswered questions, and hopefully we don't have to wait too long to get the answer. So ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for today's video. I will link the 2 articles from BattleNet that I was looking at in the description below, as well as linking my final Diablo 3 patch 2.4.3 build guide. This time it's for the Charge Barbarian, using the Immortal Kings set. 6-piece Immortal Kings, 4-piece Raycore set. So ladies and gentlemen, until next time, this is Primetime CP23, and I am out.